The Warsaw Uprising has been called one of the greatest tragedies of the 20th century. Over 200,000 civilians murdered on the orders of Hitler by the German SS. Every single one of those deaths was a tragedy. And in today's programme, we're going to use the example of 11 young girls who lost their lives in that battle. When the battle began, there was no shortage of volunteers to help the Polish Home Army out. 11 young girls came forward to help look after the wounded in the Wola district. They were assisting over 1,000 patients in the St. Lazarus Hospital when SS units attacked the hospital.
And this girl was taken out from the hospital, and then German shot them on the head.
For the patients and the staff, it must have seemed as if hell itself had arrived. The soldiers occupied the grounds of the hospital, murdering the patients in their beds, burning people alive, raping women, shooting people down regardless of their injuries or age. At least 1,200 people were killed in just a few hours, and barely any survivors made it out alive. Sadly, it was just another day in the genocidal rage visited upon the city of Warsaw in early August 1944. To cover up their crimes, the Germans took to mass burning the victims. Tomasz Kwiatkowski says the massacres in Wola are still little known today.
When the people hearing about the Wola Massacre stories, they're really often crying because they're so touching stories. And the scale of the murder, and it was so brutal, so tragic, and really often they're surprised what was really happening in Warsaw.
75 years later, all that remained of the victims were gravestones, badly in need of repair. That's when the grassroots campaign Nie zapomnij o nas powstańców warszawskich, or Don't Forget Us, the Warsaw Uprising soldiers, sprung into action. They organised a crowdfunding campaign to replace and renovate the 11 girls murdered that day. We joined the formal ceremony to mark the unveiling of these new headstones, along with former combatants and family members of the murdered girls.
Right now we are one of the central point of the Powązki Cemetery, and these graves were so destroyed after 75 years, and so we decided to do something better for this place and make a reconstruction of these graves. And right now I'm sure that we save the memory of the people who fought in the Warsaw Uprising, especially the sanitary ladies.
Speaking at the ceremony was the Vice President of the Association of Warsaw Uprising Combatants, Mrs. Halina Jędrzejewska, codename Sławka.
Jestem wzruszona, że tyle pracy w to musieliście włożyć, moi drodzy, tyle sił, i przecież to nie tylko chodzi o to, żeby o tym pomyśleć, co było może najważniejsze, że ktoś podjął tę inicjatywę, że się to zrobi, że te dziewczęta będą uhonorowane, że będziemy wszyscy myśleli o nich, jakie były to wspaniałe dziewczyny i które musiały w tak straszliwy sposób zginąć.
And here's where my work as a presenter becomes somewhat personal, because one of these murdered girls was in fact a member of the Polish family that I've joined. So this is the grave of Leokadia Wysocka. This is my wife's great aunt. This is my father-in-law's aunt. And they said in the speech that she was the youngest of all of the girls, lat 15 years old. And we've been coming to this grave for as long as I've been in this family. We've come here every year on the 1st of August. And it's so much more beautiful now, you know, it's just wonderful. You can imagine it being here for hundreds of years now, and it's going to always be this fantastic. And when I'm standing here and I look not just at her but at all these girls, I just think to myself, what a wasted potential, how many stories, their children, the things they could have gone on and done, this whole lost generation that had to go through this horrible experience, and they did it for values and ideals that we should hold dear today, because that's the best way we can remember them. But short of that, I have to say, these guys have done an absolutely fantastic job.
I'm so happy to be there and to be part of this action, and the final result of our action is so good that we are so surprised the family of the girls, and for me Warsaw Uprising is something like DNA code, and I'm so happy, and it's a touching moment for me that after 75 years the place of the memory is so good.
Well, it's been a day of emotion here at the Powązki Military Cemetery in the heart of Warsaw. The crowds have dispersed, but these gravestones will remain, paying tribute always to these 11 girls who were murdered in the heart of Warsaw. I invite you now to share this episode and also to visit The First News wherever you like to watch it, to find out more of some of the interesting, inspiring and sometimes emotional stories that we've told about Poland's turbulent but also inspiring past. I'll see you again for the next episode of Heart of Poland.